Well, hello, John. Here we are with the first of your fleet to start to refurbish, clean up for you. And first thing to mention is when I wanted to pick this up, I noticed that it was extremely loose, and then the L bracket, one of the L brackets fell out. I have not yet opened it up to see if there's another one there or if it's missing. I put it on my test track, and the reverse unit does cycle, but I've got nothing from the motor, and when I try to spin the motor, it is solid. It is not turning, so I don't know what's going on there. One thing that I thought was kind of curious is, as I like to do when I work on an engine that I haven't seen very many of, or it's been a long time since I worked on one, I'll go to my reference books and just try to get the lay of the land and history and that kind of thing. So the 21107 came very late in the Flyer scheme of things. It's produced between 1964 and 1966, and 66 was it. And so this would have come with Pike Master train sets, hence the Pike Master trucks on the tender and the Pike Master coupler on the end. Yeah, these were near the end of the game. One thing that I thought was kind of interesting, though, is my Doyle reference book talks about how there's only two types. There was this kind, which is considered type 1, and type 2 had different tender insignia on the side. Now I can't remember what it was, but both of them are very common. And but it did mention that there were white walls. So the drive wheels had painted white walls. I was like, well, that's interesting, because this one certainly doesn't. So then I went to my store of engines in my own collection that are waiting for me to refurbish them. And here is my 21107. In a lot of ways, it looks like yours, although it might be, yeah, it's definitely more dirty than yours is. But of note, these are all black plastic, no paint. So I thought that's kind of interesting. Because there's going to be nothing in the tender other than the wires that go through to the reverse unit, I'm going to go ahead and start here in the motor and see if I can figure out what's binding up. It could be the linkage, but it doesn't feel like it. So I don't know if we've got something goofy with choo-choo, because this does have choo-choo smoke, and I think headlight, which is, again, in some ways kind of remarkable, because this would have been during the era of the Casey Jones engines. So even though for a majority of Flyer's existence, these Atlantics were the bottom of the barrel, the introductory level engines, here at the end, they have smoke, choo-choo, and like I said, I believe headlight, two-stage reverse unit, and the Casey Jones engines would have been cheaper than this and would have had, you know, rinky-dink linkage and no bells, no whistles, no frills. Do not collect 200 and do not pass the jail. So there you go. Let's go ahead and get in this thing and see what we find. And hey, I'm back with yet another update, and we made a pretty hard U-turn here. I thought that I was going to be pretty much smooth sailing, putting this thing back together and putting it on the track and saying done, but it is not the case. I used JB Weld on the engine posts, shell posts, and they proved to be extremely brittle, and they cracked all over again. So I'm going to put new metal posts in, and I'm showing you here a little bit about how I do that. First of all, I remove material to make sure that both sides of the front of the chassis are even. Where they had been before I removed the material, so that, you know, the chassis doesn't ride at a weird height. That's one of the challenges of putting new posts in. Sometimes it's really hard to tell. And this is the kind of thing I use here. These are, I think they use them for woodworking maybe. In the past, I've ground off the spiral edges, but that's not going to be necessary to do here. But anyhow, so I do a test fit with those in. Now I'm going to put the smoke unit back in and do a test fit with that, just make sure there's no surprises. And then I'll remove the smoke unit again, and actually carefully take some JB Weld and put it in and around while the chassis is in like this, so that everything is held in place. And that way, when it gets done curing, I know it'll be exactly where it needs to be height-wise and all that. So here we are. I am finding things pretty much stuck together. I actually used a Stanley knife. This is the bottom plate. Used a Stanley knife and gently tapped on it just so I could get a tiny crack so that I could pry this bottom plate off. And I don't know what this stuff is. It is so sticky. And look at this. These these should pop right out. Finally got that one out. So this thing is just solid in there. I don't know what someone put in this thing. Is it lubrication? Is it vegetable oil? I don't know what this stuff is, but this thing is absolutely... Oh, there we go. Wow. That is... So, this thing's going to get to go into the ultrasonic cleaner. I am not even going to begin to try to remove all this stuff. So what I'll do is I'll pull the motor. Let's see if the motor spins. Nope, the motor still doesn't spin, so it could be all caked up. So I'm going to pull the motor off the field, reverse unit, armature, and take a look at that. And then I'd like to throw this whole thing in the ultrasonic cleaner. However, I don't know what shape this smoke unit's in, because I'm sure that would not be good to the smoke unit to do that. So I may need to... Oh man, I don't know. I might end up soaking it in WD-40 or something to try and get this gunk off. Yeah, anyhow, that's what's going on. Pretty crazy. Hey John, back with an update for you. See all this gunk? I do not know what it was that was used on this engine. I don't know if it's grease, I don't know what, but it became really hard. And I left this stuff in there for 20 minutes in an ultrasonic cleaner, and I still had to scrape a bunch of it off, which I've not had that happen before where it's been so hard. Now, you know, some of this came apart really clean, and this is what I would expect. But boy, oh boy, yeah, it was really wanting to stick. So got that done. I got your armature turned, commutator surface faced. I rounded, took a... Well, this is not spinning very true, so I trued that up for you. The next thing I need to do is, you've got this hole is pretty cracked. This post is pretty cracked. Post, not hole, post. This one actually broke off. This is for your crosshead guide screw posts. The good news is somewhere in this mess is the piece of plastic that came off. So the next thing I'm going to do is mix up some JB Weld and do those 3 posts, and then also do this one here, which holds the other bracket on for you. And so yeah, this little guy's taken some effort to get there. Again, whatever was used was so stiff and sticky that this is the bushing that goes at the front of the armature, and it was actually stuck to the shaft of the armature. Like when I finally using some WD-40 and some gentle encouragement got this to start to spin, it spun this armature out. It was stuck that hard. So anyhow, it's been really interesting trying to get this stuff apart just so I can get it cleaned and lubed and operational for you. I don't think this motor's damaged. My guess is it's been put away for a long time and just got hard over time. But with things frozen like they were, I mean, it would have burned the motor up if you or somebody else had tried to run it. And I don't see evidence of that, so that's good.